सुनते जाइए।
Everywhere in the world, you know, Americans have been doing it for last maybe 100 years. कि they generate wars.
सुनते जाइए।
उन्होंने तकरीबन 260 जंगें लड़ी हैं अब तक अमेरिका ने, चाइना ने 3 लड़ी हैं. But they still make money.
सुनते जाइए।
But वहाँ पे मिलिट्री इंडस्ट्रियल कॉम्प्लेक्स है. It's an established industry जो मेरे ख्याल उनकी GDP का मेजर पोर्शन है. उसके लिए उनको जंगें करनी पड़ती है.
सुनते जाइए।
कभी इसको लड़ा दिया, कभी किसी और को लड़ा दिया, और फिर जो है उस लड़ाई में कमा के पैसे घर चले गए.
सुनते जाइए।
यही अफगानिस्तान में उन्होंने किया है, यही उन्होंने सीरिया में, इजिप्ट में, लिबिया में. दीज कंट्रीज रियली रिच, वेरी रिच कंट्री, दे आर बैंकरप्ट नाउ.
पाकिस्तान की आवाम तो गालियां देती है अमेरिका को, लेकिन अब इनके डिफेंस मिनिस्टर भी खुल के मीडिया के अंदर बैठ के अमेरिका की बुराई करने लगे हैं.
तो साला होना ही था.
आज के बाद अगर पाकिस्तान ने न्यूक्लियर धमकी दी तो वही. आप कुर्दों को सपोर्ट करिए, तुर्की के विभाजन की बात करिए. द पनिशमेंट फॉर टर्की इज द डिवीजन ऑफ टर्की. दैट शुड बी इंडियाज एम. सरकार से सवाल पूछना आपका फर्ज है. इट्स योर ड्यूटी बिकॉज यू आर इन अ डेमोक्रेसी. ये तसव्वुर नहीं कर सकते कि ये आसिम मुनीर से सवाल पूछे. हो ही नहीं सकता वहां पे. सर क्या इसका कोई प्रूफ मिल सकता है? गद्दार है तुम, गद्दार है तुम, सब गद्दार हो.
Unfortunately, you're not the first and last one, and because of that concern, our government has sent us over here and various delegations comprising of all party members of parliament to different parts of the world, so that the world knows the threat which India has been facing from last so many years. And unfortunately, we have lost huge amount of human lives. Innocent people have been killed. And the fact of the matter is that this problem emanates from Pakistan only. Unless and until Pakistan stops promoting, aiding, sponsoring all these terrorist groups, this issue will not go away. And India has exercised utmost restraint in dealing with this problem. I don't want to reiterate what the head of my delegation, my honorable good friend Jay Panda, has said. But please understand that India has exercised utmost restraint. Even after the Pahalgam attack which took place, in which 26 tourists have lost their lives. And please, understand the enormity of this massacre which took place. A girl which got married 6 days ago, on the 7th day she becomes a widow. A girl which got married 2 months ago, she becomes a widow. India has all the wherewithal, and inshallah we have all the means to ensure the safety of not only the Indians, but anyone who lives in India. Because if you see on the 9th or 10th of May, when Pakistan unleashed whatever it had, no amount of damage happened in the mainland India. Yes, in the Poonch area, we know what has happened. But the air defense system, what has been said by the government in the media is that all our technology, all our warfare was able to stop whatever was thrown from a failed state like Pakistan. You're absolutely right. A bomb blast took place in Rameshwaram. Those culprits have been caught. And let me also remind you that the 26/11 incident which took place in Mumbai, Ajmal Kasab was caught. Ajmal Kasab was given all the due process of the law, wherein Ajmal Kasab went through all the legal process of our country, and ultimately the court gave him the punishment. Even after that, the Indian investigators gave all the evidences which was required to the Pakistani government. They had given proofs, audio recordings. And can you believe at that time when this 26/11 incident took place, the Pakistan foreign minister was in India. So this is a state which is not at all connected. It is not at all concerned about the safety and what the message that goes out. But unfortunately, because of Pakistan's intransigence, that trial didn't go further up. But when Bahrain was heading the FATF committee and Pakistan was put in the grey list, that trial proceeded. And after that, Pakistan came out of grey list. And unfortunately, those people were convicted only in money laundering, not in terrorist charges. And there was a UN designated terrorist called Zakiur Rahman Lakhvi. I don't know where in the world the prison system is such that Mr. Zakiur Rahman is a designated terrorist. And by being in prison, his wife gives birth to a child. Now this is what Pakistan's legal system or the support of the state is concerned. So I can only assure you with all the responsibility that our government has taken all the steps to protect the life and limb of every Indian, and this government has made very clear. Next time you take up this misadventure, it will be beyond what they are expecting. See, we don't want to reply in that way, but there is a limit to the patience of the Indians. You cannot go on and come into India and kill people. You cannot place bombs. The first terrorist suicide bomb took place in front of Jammu Kashmir Assembly. And you had Uri, Pulwama, and last year in July, terrorists had went and shot these Hindu pilgrims who were going in that particular bus. 7 people were killed. So now I think there is unanimity in our country, irrespective of whatever political affiliations we belong to. Yes, we have political differences, but when it comes to the integrity of our country, it is high time that the neighboring country understands. And I would hope and request that the Bahraini government would help us in bringing back Pakistan grey list of FATF. Because this money has been used to support those terrorists. And I'm sure our chairman, my friend Jay Panda must have told you that when we had bombed those 9 terrorist sites, especially Bahawalpur of LET, how is it that a designated terrorist is offering namaz-e-janazah of those people? I mean, there is a limit to this shamelessness. So you can be rest assured, and your family is our family. We understand your concern, but inshallah, hopefully, we will see the end of.
Just a little less than 2 weeks ago, President Trump intervened or played a role in the conflict that India has with Pakistan and has since '48, I think. And he says that he said on his own social media platform that he brokered a peace deal. I've heard voices, and you're smiling just a bit. I hear that as a voice as well. That might not be the whole story. But my point is, because as I see it, the President Trump is going to the world trying to make peace. That's what he's saying. That's his ambition. Do you agree that his approach, which is perhaps more cynical, which is more transactional, does bring more peace with it than the more ideologically or ideal-based approach that has been for some years now?
Well, first of all, let me, I like this telepathic interview where I just have to smile and you pick up on it. Where, our part of the world was concerned, because again, when we look at big global challenges, I think I would put terrorism right up there as one of the key challenges which affect the entire world. And we've had to grapple with a very serious terrorist attack in April. And what followed was a consequence of that, because the terrorists were based in a neighboring country and, were operating with impunity and with a high degree of state protection and support. we had the conflict for a few days that you spoke about. Now, we resolved that conflict for the moment in its particular military form through agreement and understanding for a cessation of firing and military action. And this was something that we negotiated directly between the militaries of the two countries. The trigger for it was that after we had fighting for a few days, we hit them very hard on a particular morning, the morning of the 10th to be precise, and that caused the Pakistanis to say, okay, we're prepared to stop the firing and, reach an understanding about how to deal with it. So I just want to, get that part of it across to you. But as a general proposition, I think right now, there's a conflict going on in Ukraine, as I said, into its fourth year. You have a very, serious situation. Again, a lot of bloodshed in the Middle East. Then there are other aspects to it, Yemen, etc., etc. So if you have, I think, a world leader who advocates, conflict resolution and settlement as a broad principle, obviously that is to be welcomed. Now, people can have views about, what's the best cause, what should be negotiated, who should negotiate it. That's a different issue. But I think if one steps back and looks at the world in the last 5 years, let us say, it's a very difficult world. And the ravages of the COVID, the long-term effects, what it has done to societies in many countries. And top of it, then multiple conflicts. And each of these conflicts, I spoke about how Ukraine has affected food, fuel, and fertilizer. Look at the Middle East. It has completely messed up shipping and, the maritime traffic between Asia and Europe. And that actually has very serious economic and job implications for people. So we need today an effort, ideally collective, but we know realistically that it doesn't work that way. Different countries need to find ways of, bringing down the temperature, getting people to talk, encouraging people to talk. And we believe that is best done by
Audio Jungle.